You look cute as hell.
Thank you.
Ugh.
I'm so excited. This is the part of the show where we don't do anything interesting because it's the beginning and nobody is active in our live. Hi, I'm Tiffany Vogue.
I love how you just start that, but nobody's even watching us.
I know. Well, when it plays back on the YouTube, when people go back to watch it when we're not live, they're going to appreciate these little things I say towards the beginning.
Hi, I like flesh. My name's Jessica Whor.
And by flesh, she means big butts.
Big butts.
She likes big butts.
I'm
Now,
the
when Jessica
Tasmanian
says she's...
Devil's sister.
Was that?
I'm the Tasmanian Devil's sister.
Oh, I recognize the dialect. I love
We
it.
have 5. We have 8. Let's give it another minute so people
Okay.
can come on in and get all started.
There's room for everybody in our live. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a good one. I know we were just on the cusp of a pivotal story in this book last week. And
It was
really
very underwhelming last time.
I know, but we were like really building up to it. So now we're finally going to get to
the good part. This is when death happens, you know?
The good part. Yeah.
Okay, we've got about 30 people walking on or watching in, so let's get started. Sound good?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is Bible Sludy episode 4, right?
4, I believe so.
4. We go through. My name's Jessica Lahore, Catholic lady. Well, not really much right now, but born and raised Catholic, and that's me, Jessica Lahore.
And I'm Tiffany Vogue, and I was a pastor's child who was exorcised twice to get the gay demons out, but they didn't do a very good job because I ended up turning into a drag queen. So I hope my parents got their money back from that exorcism because something went horribly wrong.
I feel like a live representation of one of the gay demons that came out.
Yes.
This is what came out of you.
Jessica is one of those demons that was extracted from my soul.
And your whole... Okay, so for Bible Sludy, everybody, we have been going through the Bibles, each story, each little verse, and we pretty much have conversations about each thing that we notice that doesn't make sense or has some obscurity, vague feeling to it, anything that's controversial, anything that we can point out, because it's been quite a wild adventure. We're only a couple pages in.
Yeah. Well, and as Jessica likes to mention in these lives, we have been told all our lives by Christian conservative fundamentalists to read the damn Bible. So we are here to appease their wishes and read it. And if we like it, maybe we'll buy into it. Maybe we'll start showing up to church. If we find that it's problematic, maybe we won't. But we're just going to sort of go page by page. If it's a holy magic book, it should be something that we're able to understand. I feel like a God who created the universe should be able to pull together a book that is comprehensible for anybody who reads it. So we're going to dive in.
He's been doing a lot of other things. There's no reason we can't get a comprehensive story. So
very true. That is our view on the matter anyway.
So let's tell them what Bibles we have again. I like kicking off that way. So I've got the Precious Moments Bible. I've been sticking with that. I like it. I really like to highlight it because I think it's so interesting that it says the Small Hands edition. So I'm really going to say that every episode that we do. What do you
And it has a baby lamb, doesn't it?
It has a baby lamb.
Yeah, Jessica's is a picture book.
There's pictures at the end.
The baby lamb counts as a picture. That Bible's a picture book. Mine has pictures too. Oh, that's cute. That's adorable. Mine has pictures too. It has 2 lesbian birds kissing on the front.
Aww.
Yeah, a pink one and like a peach one. They're different shades of pink. But mine is the Bible for teenage girls. That's me.
Clearly.
Sorry, my dentures fell out. That's going to happen a couple times throughout the show. I take them out to pleasure my suitors, so I had all my teeth yanked. I was looking to lose some weight.
My God.
Lost 6 ounces.
I'm sure you found it again in your ass later.
How many cc's of nut was
Damn.
injected into Tiffany this weekend?
So Tiffany, we just left off. We learned all about these people, this entire family of people, and then we learned that God hated all of them but Noah.
Yes.
Said, "No, I'm going to entrust you. I'm going to save you and your family, but you have to do this favor for me."
God was picking favorites again.
Again, I'm not going to help you build this boat, but build this boat. 2 of everything needs to be on this boat, and your family. That's it.
Yep.
That's where we left off.
And I think in the previous verse, it actually mentioned that Noah was like 300 years old. He was like 300, 500 years old when God asked him to start building this boat.
Yeah. Oh, we did learn that too, that people can live at this point in the Bible for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah, and then God capped it after the flood at 120, which last week we discovered some lady in France kind of beat God.
God was sleeping on the job. He took a nap and that lady survived.
She found a loophole, and good for her.
Good for her.
All right, do you want to start us off today reading your Tasmanian devil?
I can do that. Okay, mine is called The Great Flood. What is yours called?
Mine is called... Wait, which chapter is it?
Number 7, Genesis 7:10.
Oh, 7 doesn't have a title for mine. So what's yours say?
Mine says The Great Flood.
Work.
Hey. Then the Lord said to Noah.
You sound like that queen who's been hosting shows since before you were born, and she's
then
been
the Lord
smoking
said
2 packs
to
a day.
Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every animal." Wait, let me rephrase. See, I'm getting all crazy. Let me just read it normal.
It was very, you folks from out of town, welcome to the drag show.
I know, you got me all in my head. Okay, let's just start over and I'll say it like a real woman, all right?
Okay, all right.
Flood. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean, a male and his female." So he's got to get 9?
Well, what I took away from that passage was the 7 of each clean animal. And you know what wasn't clean? Noah. Noah wasn't clean because he would have had to get on that ark with all of the STIs. Noah would have had to been riddled with STIs to carry all of the STIs throughout his generation to the period that they're at now.
But I thought it was just 2 of each animal. Now it's like 7 of the clean ones and 2 of the not clean ones.
The clean ones, those are for them to eat. That's why they're specified as clean, because they had specific rules about which animals they were allowed to eat and which ones they were not allowed to eat. You know how Jewish people, and this is the Old Testament, so it's surrounding the Jewish culture, they weren't allowed to eat like pork, for example. So
understood. Okay, so he really had more work. He had to collect more animals.
Yeah, so they could eat some lamb while they're on the boat or whatever.
Okay. For after 7 more days, also 7 each of birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days, I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was on the earth. So Noah with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood, of clean beasts, of beasts that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth. 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah, And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth.
Very good. You've been practicing, I can tell. And you
Dang.
read it through all those strands of really, really ratty hair.
Just pubes.
Looks like you shaved that from your back and just plopped it on your head.
I wish my back could grow this kind of hair. I am
Oh my
jealous.
God. Do you? Do
Yeah,
you really?
the things that I could do.
Are you secretly the hairiest girl I know?
No, we know who that is.
Oh my God. Well, it seems like we have already got into it. I can't believe 600 years old Noah was when the flood waters came on the earth. So he was building this ark and he was well into his 500 years on this earth. Do you know how pissed I'd be if I had lived to be 500 plus years and somebody slapped me with that type of a job? Like, I want to retire by the time I'm 60, honey. I don't want to be working that hard building a just with his family. He didn't have cranes. He didn't have tools.
I don't want to do that at 30.
Yeah, our backs are already just completely crippled.
You know, there's a comment in both the TikTok and the YouTube. They both said, how did they even cook it? There wasn't any ovens and what? You couldn't start a fire on a boat. So I guess that they just like choked the animal and then ate it raw.
Yeah, like Gollum. They just snapped the fish's neck. Mm. But speaking of fish, how did the fish survive the flood? Everybody talks about how, every two of every land animal onto the boat, they were saved, they got to be preserved for the future. If you put freshwater fish in a mixture of all the freshwater rain and the ocean, it's going to be too salty for all the freshwater fish to survive. It's going to be too not salty. It's going to be too diluted for all the saltwater fish to survive.
Hold up. To be fair, it doesn't specify what type of water God is putting. He just said that I'm going to make it rain. He can do everything else. He could make it rain Mountain Dew, like cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
One of them's gonna go belly up. One of them's gonna have, just like that little girl who shakes the bag on Finding Nemo. Those fish are gonna be belly up, just floating cross-eyed. Because, like I said, it's even if God made it rain salt water, then all the ocean fish are gonna survive, but all the freshwater fish are gonna die.
Well, we don't know what fish were like back then because look at humans. They're hundreds and hundreds of years old. There's obviously some kind of like superpower between the earlier stages. These fish could just be like, oh, you're in the water, you're good.
You're right. I forgot. The magic fish.
Magic
They were different fish back then.
They could be different.
Sure, Jan.
Let's continue.
All right. Which verse did you leave off on?
11.
11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the second month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and rain fell on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day, Noah and his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. So like bats?
Yeah.
Are bats and birds the same kind?
I bet you they're a little bit similar. They both can fly.
Sure.
They've got to be connected somehow.
Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark, but not the plants. They all died, I'm sure.
Wow.
The animals going in were male and female of every living thing. As God had commanded Noah, then the Lord shut him in. The 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth. And as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth, The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. 15 cubits.
There's that cubits again.
It covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. Okay, so that has to cover like Mount Everest, right?
No, we said a cubit was like about forearm.
Yeah, but it's saying that it covered the mountains in at least 15 cubits.
Yeah, like maybe that's just how far it went up. Like part of
Yeah,
the mountain.
yeah,
But
sure.
not above Mount Everest.
Well, I don't know. I think that's open to interpretation, I suppose. It seems to
Oh,
me,
are you saying that the mountains were underneath the water?
yeah.
Oh, see, I don't think so at this time.
It says the waters rose and covered the mountains.
Yes, but do they mean like enveloped them, or do they mean like they covered them? Like I can cover something without
Oh,
covering it all the
oh.
way.
Well, it says to a depth of more than 15 cubits. So
Yeah,
it would
mountains
seem,
at angle.
sure. I guess that makes sense. It's like a mudslide of 15 cubits, is what you're saying.
It seems like that, but I'm trying to figure out why it would be how the water would still be that high.
The last time I had a mudslide of 15 cubits, it was because there was a horrible douching accident gone wrong, and I hadn't quite gotten it all out just yet. Could never get the stains out of those sheets. Every living thing that moved on
Relate.
land perished. Birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures, even the twinks and the bears that swarm over the earth, and all of mankind.
Somebody said that it could be Atlantis.
It could be. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. People and animals and creatures that move along the ground, and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. So that's like about half a year.
Yes, and that's a lot of food to pack for and to survive on a boat for. So maybe you're right. Maybe the water literally was that high above, and it took this long for it to like sink down.
Yeah. I just keep expecting you to crawl out of my screen. I just it's it's a curse. So that is all of chapter 7.
Yeah,
And just a lot of destruction, whole lot of genocide. We've
yeah.
gotten rid of the people, we got rid of the animals, and it
My
was completely unjustified for the animals. The people might have been shitty. Maybe they had it coming. Even the little old ladies and the unborn babies. Maybe the unborn babies were just inside the womb, like shanking each other.
Well, I'm just like, why didn't he make it easier on everybody? He's like, I can snap my fingers and we can say you're all gone. I can make you disappear. But he had to go through this process, which doesn't have answers because we talked about the fish argument. We also then have to think at this point, there's no other humankind. So it's just his family
Yeah,
to procreate.
yeah. Wait, couldn't he have found 2 families just to make it a little less incestuous?
That's true. And at this point, we've been confused about the ancestral pieces since the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and God does mention that he has the power to harden people's hearts when he hardens Pharaoh's heart later in the book. So
Can he
why couldn't
harden
he
other things?
soften the hearts of the people that were so terrible? And then like even if he had to do that with just a couple families to make it less incestuous at the end of the whole earth
He
flooding, if
didn't,
he was really looking forward to flooding the
he
earth,
didn't like anybody else. He only liked Noah. He barely liked Noah's family.
you know, to be honest, I feel like parents really do be that way. They pick the favorites. Do your parents have favorites?
All I know is it's not me. I don't know if
Really?
they pick
You?
favorites, but all I know that it is not me.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, let's figure out this next. What's the next
Mine doesn't have a title for this chapter. It's
Mine
just
says
chapter 8.
Noah's Deliverance. Deliver
The-
us. Do you like that movie?
I hated it for the longest time because it was like one of the only VHSs that I was ever allowed to watch as a child, because I was not allowed to have any content in my household that was not Christian music or a Christian movie. So it was one of the only things I was ever allowed to watch. And it's like educational programming, which is already really, really painful. So now as an adult, I'm able to look back and really appreciate like the quality of the songs. And what inspired me to do that was actually your performance when you were impersonating, I think his name was Japheth, but it was like Moses's Moses's
I love that song
yes.
so much.
I think I still have that clip saved of you doing that number because I just rewatched it a million times. But yeah, it was Moses's stepfather dancing, singing that song. When I saw you do that, I was like, I'm gonna give it another chance, honey. I'm gonna watch that over, and it is good. It is a quality film. DreamWorks really went off. It's a cute story. I just am not gonna dedicate my life to it.
No, true. And the thing is, I like this movie so much, but I've seen it so many times. The music specifically is my favorite. But can I just read off some of the actors and actresses in it that I had no idea were in it?
Right? Yes, please do.
Val Kilmer. I don't know who this guy is. Sandra Bullock's in it.
Ah.
Steve Martin is in it. Martin Short is in it. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Whoa.
Patrick Stewart. Isn't that the guy from Trekkie? Isn't he a Trekkie?
Possibly.
Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
It's just got a lot of big names that I didn't have any idea were part of this film. And it's
well, and honestly, why? I don't fully understand why when something's animated, they pull in like really big names. It's like nobody's gonna know.
You want to know that they're like Mariah Carey and Whitney are gonna sing a cover of this movie. And they said, "Okay, sign me up."
Yeah, work, love it. Awesome. Do you want to do chapter 8 then?
I will. Noah's Deliverance. Deliver us. Then God remembered Noah. What do you mean he remembered him?
He forgot a little while. I think God was scrolling through TikTok. He was doing that.
Oh, Noah, shit! It's been 150 days of water. You're probably suffering.
Oops! Just left him floating, bobbing on the ocean.
I slept through my alarms again.
God was just doom scrolling the whole time and completely forgot.
Then God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided.
God broke wind to pass over the earth.
God queefed, and then took all the water.
It's very nice.
He farted, and it just all went down.
I like imagining him pulling one of those giant drains that you see cartoons pull at the bottom
just like
of the ocean.
Plug.
Yeah, a big old butt plug at the bottom of the ocean. Just...
The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were also stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters receded continually from the earth, and the end of the 150 days the water decreased. Then the ark rested in the 7th month, and the 17th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. So you're right. So
but not the bottoms.
Not the bottoms. So it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. So he had not opened it since?
You know, Noah would have died from all of the gas emissions from all of those animals.
Yeah, there has to be a window.
And you know what? He is just Scrooge McDuck diving into pounds of shit at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Just backstroking through all of that animal feces because his whole family, we know exactly how many people were in his family, and it is not enough to run a whole zoo. They are so occupied with feeding all of these animals that they don't have time to be providing those animals with health care and scooping up their poop. Like he hasn't opened the window the whole time.
151 days of shit.
That is a Dutch oven to defeat all Dutch ovens.
I alone could hurt somebody with 151 days of shit, of my own shit. Uh-oh. We're having some connection issues. Are you with me?
I'm here. Do you see
Okay.
me?
I see you.
Am I
Do you see
moving?
me?
I see you. I haven't had any issues on my end.
Okay, good. All right. So it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. Then he sent out a
Just
raven.
like when you and I are going to Fort Collins and I beg you to open up that window.
Which one?
For all of the gas emissions that you let into the cabin. And I just, Jessica, please open a window, please.
I love child locking your ass into my he sent out a raven which kept going to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. He also sent out from himself a dove to see if the waters had abated from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her foot, and she returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and drew her into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. So this is after another week. Then the dove came to him in the evening, and behold, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth, and no one knew that the waters had abated from the earth. So he waited yet another 7 days, and sent out the dove, which did not return again to him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, that the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and indeed the surface of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dried. This is a long ass process. This is not 151 days. This is 151 days plus 2 months for the water to go below the mountain, another 2 weeks for the doves and the other birds. Plus, this is like a whole solid calendar year.
I've seen DIY YouTube videos on how to remodel your kitchen that had less steps than this.
If God can just snap his fingers and make the water go down, why can't he just make it go faster?
Yeah. I think that just when people write about magic, they really leave so many loopholes in how to magic correctly.
That's true. Well, anyway, at this point, finally, the goddamn earth is dried. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, "Go out of the ark, you and your wife, and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds and cattle, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may
That's you.
abound on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth."
That's you.
So he's now saying, this is like your second chance. Go out. You're good to go now.
Yeah.
Okay. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wives and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, every bird, and whatever creeps on the earth according to their families went out of the ark. So now everybody's leaving that hoarders buried alive shit stain of an ark.
Yeah. They're probably traumatized. Everybody they knew, their corpses are just floating by.
Yeah.
Think God offered a therapy plan after, he'd drown everyone they knew.
It's just a lot to feed that many animals for that many days, that much poop. Like, God, there's so much concerning. I can't even stay in a barn for a long ass time without being concerned. 151 days?
Yeah. If you could make anything rain from heaven, what would you make rain from heaven for 150 days?
A1 steak sauce.
That's gonna kill more people than the rain did. It's just glass bottles.
No, not in the bottle. Oh my God. Not in the bottle. It just rains the liquid of A1. Like, yes, exactly. Like you just open your mouth. Not the that's dangerous. Oh my
I
god.
want it to rain sausages, so it can be like that sexy thing where you see the meme where like a woman has like
You're
12
vegan.
sausages thrown at her face.
You're
We just
vegan.
walk outside and I'd be
You're
like a pelican.
you're vegan. You don't want those.
They would be vegan sausages. Or they would be lab grown meat, so it's cruelty free. God can do it.
They're
God can magic up some cruelty free meat.
much harder.
Yeah, it's gonna be more expensive. It's gonna be more costly for him.
But God can do it. He's got it. He's got good credit.
Zaddy has money.
Daddy. Okay, you want
Hi,
to
Zaddy.
next little prayer?
Oh, which verse were you left off on?
I left off on 20. Do you have a title for this one?
Nope. What's yours?
God's covenant with creation.
Work. Here we go. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings. Are birds not animals?
He likes to separate them.
Okay.
They don't
The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, gee golly, I just love the smell of burnt corpses. Oh no, it's he said, never again will
very
I
different. I was like, my version's very different.
He said, never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. Gee, Dad! A little passive aggressive there. Who made us that way? Oh, that gets my goat. And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. Now, that's the end of that verse. My next chapter is titled God's Covenant with Noah. What does yours say?
I don't have a title for this one, just a large number 9. But
Okay.
I'm just like, so he says this prayer and he's like, hey, I'm not going to do this again. It obviously wasn't a great idea, but we tried it out.
Yeah.
We tried it out.
Hey, I'll try anything once.
I'll try everything once. And that's it.
Yeah, well, no, and then, so he says, hey, you know, I might have overreacted, drowned everybody and everything.
He had a diva
wiped
moment.
the slate clean. But, however, I'm not ever going to do it again. I decided this is not such a great idea, even though, you know, I'm not ever going to do it again, even though all of mankind, everyone who's ever born,
is awful.
how did he phrase it? Oh, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood, I'm never gonna do this again. That's so he didn't fix anything.
No.
He didn't fix anything.
No.
At that point, if you're gonna commit a mass genocide, wipe everybody from your earth and start over with another Adam and Eve, and maybe this time they won't eat the fruit.
So this is a comment that we just got. God made us so that we had free will because he didn't force us to love him when we turned against him. But it doesn't sound like free will when he kills off everybody.
It also specifically says in the Bible that everybody's name who is going to be in heaven is already written in the book of life, which completely negates the idea of free will. If people are made and with their names already determined on who's going to be going to heaven, that completely is just undoes your theory. So I'm sorry, there's a contradiction right there.
Well, then he said, well, he did fix it because he required sacrifice, so we didn't need to be punished. And the thing is, he required the sacrifice of the entirety of life, except for animals in this one family. What was that? No. Ew, I'm not responding to that one. He said, all you have to do is ask him. I'm not. No, I don't have a direct fact like code.
Yeah, text God. We'll see if he gets back to us about that question. The next chapter is God's covenant with Noah. This is chapter 9. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the earth through incest. The fear and dread of you will fall on all the beasts of the earth and on all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands to do with whatever you want, apparently. We're just here to rape the earth. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it." And so there goes your theory about eating the raw wriggling fish on the ark. "And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal and from each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being." What does that mean?
He wants you to keep track of how many people you're creating.
Oh, okay.
You know?
"Whoever sheds human blood by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind." Okay. So it seems like he's just trying to hold people accountable for that type of a thing.
Kind of like that.
As
Yeah, if you hurt somebody, someone's gonna hurt you.
revenge, yes.
Talk
Uh,
shit, get hit.
As for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it. And they sure did.
Yeah, but there's
Then
only one
God's
family. There's only one human family.
Yeah, yeah. God just set up his little cuck chair in the corner and watched them sort of
He's like,
inbreed
okay,
a
the
little.
3 kids, each of you have a wife. Now switch to the left. That's your new wife for a couple months. Okay.
Whoo, it's giving the hills have eyes. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, "I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth." That rainbow that the gays
The
stole from the
gays
Christians.
stole the rainbow.
God put that rainbow there just for the religious folks. And we went and took it because Satan likes to pervert the pure things of God. "When I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you," because otherwise I would have completely forgotten, "and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all earth, to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on earth." So God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all life on earth." Instead, next time, he's going to do it with fire.
Oh my gosh. So this is him. Sounds like an abusive relationship.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's very much a, hey, I was wrong, baby. I still love you. I'm so sorry. I won't do it again. Let me make these promises with you. Let me give you the land. Let me give you the ability to procreate. Let me give you all the animals. Let me make sure that you're there. My bad. I promise I won't do this again. But we know later he does this again. This
Absolutely.
is an
And I feel
abusive
like if you wouldn't accept that type of treatment from your partner, you shouldn't accept that type of treatment from a deity. I don't feel like even if it was proven that this specific God is the real God, it doesn't necessarily mean or imply that he's a good one or a kind one or an empathetic one.
It's true.
Do you want to polish off the sons of Noah?
Yeah, that's actually good. Okay. Noah and his sons.
Sounds like
Now,
a three-way.
I've watched this before. He parts their pussy.
See, that was terrible.
Oh, ooh. Now the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sounds like a sandwich. I said that last time. And Ham was the father of Canaan. And these three were the sons of Noah. And from these the whole earth was populated. And Noah began to be a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. Hey, that's the first thing I would plant too. Something to grow booze.
You know what I would do, right? I think that if I was in God's position, I would tell them, I would have this whole thing, everything play out exactly how it did. We would flood the earth, have them survive, and then tell them, okay, now it's your responsibility to repopulate the earth. I want you to go forth and multiply. And then I would make all of them impotent. I would make them all have the most flaccid penises. I would strike their owners away from them, and they would just have to be bumping uglies. Little.
No, the thing is, you give two of the three flaccid dicks that can't get it up, and one that is always hard. So then they start fighting each other.
Definitely, they would pull a Cain and Abel. They would. They'd be so envious of their brother who's getting all of the ass.
Exactly. Why do you get to create all the kids on the land?
I'm just saying, God's inciting a whole lot of drama throughout this whole book, and he missed out on an opportunity here.
Could have played. He played around with everybody else's well-being. He couldn't do it. But he made it. He's a new covenant. He's a new person now. Remember, he's starting fresh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He went. He's back from his AA meeting, and he's like, I'm changed. It's never gonna happen again.
Then he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became
woo,
and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. So his son saw daddy naked and told his other brothers.
Now, a lot of Christians will say that this is actually not just seeing him naked.
Oh.
But that it implies more.
Like he was
That's not everybody's interpretation of the scripture, but a lot
of... He was masturbating?
Well, they're saying that he did something, like maybe that he did maybe self-pleasure while looking at his naked father. Noah was like 600 years old. How great of a body can Noah have?
He could be daddy. He just built an ark. He just built an ark. You know that man is ripped.
He's just like the Hulk.
You know he takes that robe off and he's... He looks like Uncle Iroh after the prison.
In that case, I think it's God's fault. He shouldn't have made Noah a dilf.
See? Anyway, but Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both of their shoulder, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. So they acted like they didn't see. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his
gaping booty hole.
And knew what his younger son had done to him.
So he did something to him. And he noticed. It had to have been something that he'd noticed. He'd be like, I don't remember having a gerbil inside me before I passed out drunk.
Where's the other gerbil? There should be two of everything.
They had to go in there pair by pair.
Then he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants he shall be to his brethren." And he said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth."
Oh,
and may he indwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. He's 900 and something years at this point. So all the
Gosh.
days of Noah were 950 years, and then he died.
And he walked funny ever since that encounter
Yeah.
with his son in the tent.
But this doesn't make sense. So at this point, he's saying, I know what you did to me. You're all going to be servants to each other.
Here's what I want to know. If God knew that Noah's son was a queer, why did he let him on the ark to molest his father?
Maybe
Isn't
he
God
didn't know.
omnipotent?
Maybe he didn't know yet
Was it
until
part of God's grand design?
the gerbil.
You always know. You always know when a man's a little fruity, right? Well, not always, but like God had to know. I think that we got so much juicy scripture today. In fact, my pages are dripping with saliva from how often I've laughed, just burst into hysteria.
There's so much happening in this Bible, and it's only 8 pages in.
Yeah, it was 8 chapters. I'm sure your itty bitty little baby book is probably a chapter per page with a tiny, tiny little font.
4.
Gosh, that is wild. Well,
Oh
do
my
we have
gosh.
any comments you want to go over before we
Yeah,
wrap up?
let's see what comments we have. So what
Any?
someone said, so what we're saying is Noah flooded his basement.
Ah! My God!
Someone said, where are the dinosaurs?
It's a fair point.
Where are the dinosaurs? Someone liked my Uncle Iroh comment. We have this conversation with this person that really loves Jesus. I don't want to talk to them right now. I'll talk to you later. They keep telling us to skip forward to read a different chapter. I'm like, that's not how this works.
This is a good chapter. It's not going to
Roman.
get a whole lot better than this.
Someone said, I love dead bodies that can read. Someone said, this is not drag makeup. Someone said, pack up and run. No, but not a lot of questions. Oh, someone said the flood myth originated in Mesopotamia. How do they cook the meat?
I think they were just biting the heads off of birds, like
mean,
that circus
like
freak.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, pulling an Aussie.
Yeah, that's really all. No other questions, no other comments that are worth bringing up. That
All
was
right.
Bible Slutty for this week, everybody. We have next week at 5 o'clock Mountain Time and 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
That's right. So join us for Bible Slutties. If you enjoyed today's program, you can go ahead and tip us on the Venmo. We got to get those faith pledges in. We're trying to save up for a new kidney for Jessica because she's just drinks for a living.
I didn't until Bible Slutty.
You just look like the poster child for born again salvation right now,
Save me,
clutching on your
Jesus,
Bible.
save me. Save me, Jesus. Save me.
Can you close us out with one of your da 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 da?
And he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, dun, 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 make you to shine like the sun. I remember all my church hymns. I loved singing in church.
You did? Oh my
And
God.
hold you in the palm of his hand.
Oh God.
I would love to close out each Bible study with a song. Yeah,
With a hymn.
with a
My favorite hymn is WAP.
I prefer to close it out with a her instead of a him.
A herm. A herm.
A her. Her.
I love that. That's beautiful. Wow. Well, if we reach $20 in donations today, we're going to be able to afford to cast the demons out of Jessica. So
And I have at least 8 loads of demons inside of me currently.
yeah, it's been a busy week for her. She's just completely wrecked.
Yeah, we cork on Sundays.
My God. Well, are we doing a Bible study next week?
We are. I'm just gonna be out of drag in costume.
Lovely. I think that the people would prefer that.
I will be in a costume, but I will be out of drag. Or I'll go like
Lovely. Oh my God, I can't wait to see what your boy mode presents for a little costume surprise for Bible study next week. Oh my God, I might be out of drag next week too.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Love
just
that
gonna
for us.
be a couple of men at Bible study next week. So definitely join us
Ooh,
then.
let's try to think of like slutty twink Halloween party.
Work. Let's
That
yeah, leather and studs and nipple clamps. It's gonna be
penis
everything that
penis pumps.
yeah,
I'll
that's right.
bring I did the other week, I put the about an inch and a half of a crucifix up my butt.
On stage?
Yeah, it was a rosary and I danced with it and I pulled on the string while it was in my butt.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. Did you get it back? Were you able to return it?
Yeah, it had some splinters in the hole, but otherwise it was good.
Oh my goodness. Uh I hope you held on to the receipt for that. Get your money back now that you're done with it.
I'm gonna sell it to some nasty person.
Somebody who knows how to have a good time. Yeah, it's increased in value now. That's how you take care of your assets. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Appreciate ya.